Alrighty guys, so here's a Sunday update for you. For today anyway. We'll get here in the shop because it's a little bit on the windy side. And I mean, if you can see, look between the house and the tree, you see some dark blue over there. Some real dark blue. There's a little bit of heavy rain coming. It's actually a little bit of... It's going to be blue. Or green on the radar. Shows green, I mean. Meaning that it's decently... Oh, it's kind of dark green, so it's a little bit on the heavy side of rain. But then after that, there's a little bit of yellow, which means even heavier fucking rain coming now. So, if you guys know, you guys have seen that Suck It video. That video was from, I don't remember the date, but it was quite a while ago, or a few days ago, or whatever it was. I had sucked the basement down pretty much. I was pretty certain that I had sucked it down good enough, because when I had pumped it, or sucked the water out, so this was 3 days after I made that video, okay? I was going for 3 days afterwards. I moved about 80 gallons a day. One day I moved 100 gallons. I moved a lot more than that, I think, though, because I've actually been writing it down. So it's a 10-gallon shot vac, and I just write down the number 10 every time that I empty it, and then I'll use the calculator and I'll add it up, and that'll give me my total. I haven't done it yet for the total that I've moved yet, which I'll probably do later on. If I remember, I'll put it in the description how many gallons I've moved so far. But the thing is that it rained this morning. Mom didn't think it rained that hard, but come to find out, I think it did, because there's actually standing water in certain areas of my yard. That usually indicates that it was a pretty heavy downpour. And mind you, too, the ground is still damp from the rain before. From, like, I don't know, 4 days ago, or whenever the hell we got that last heavy rain that we got. And the farmers apparently wanted it because the fields are so fucking dry. Well, now look at what you gave us. More shit. And as you guys seen there behind my house, there's more shit fucking coming. And my basement's flooded again. It was literally sucked down. Most of my basement was dry. And it's completely filled. It's even filled even more now than it was the last time. From the last rain that we got. So I'm pretty freaking ticked off because I did all that work. I spent 4 days moving water. Now, mind you, I only moved 80 gallons, which would take me about, well, depending on how much water there is, I want to say I could probably get it done within an hour. You know, depending on how much water there was in certain areas, because some areas are more flooded than others. It's such a freaking joke. I'm so tired of it. And I know, I don't remember who said it. I freaking forget now. But someone said that I should put a second sub pump in my basement. If I was to do that, which would be nice, but the way my concrete floor is, it's not pitched like it should be. So whoever the hell pitched it is the gayest, stupidest motherfucker on this planet. They attempted to try to, well, what was the word I was just saying? They tried to, you know, make it so the water would flow from the high end to the low end, which would be the sub pump. So that's supposed to be the lowest spot of the basement. They're supposed to pitch it to your pump. They did a terrible job of pitching it. An absolute terrible job, because I have water standing in certain areas of my basement. And of course, then if it tries to go uphill, the water, well, if it's under a certain amount of water, it's not going to go over that hump. Unless there's more water to keep pushing the water over the hill. There's so much water right now that it was able to climb over, you know, the hill of the concrete. Because the way they pitched it. They didn't pitch it like they should have. The west side of my house, the basement, should have been No, not the west. The west is actually that way. So it would be the east side of my basement. That's what should have been pitched high. And then the west end should have been pitched high. And then the south side should have been pitched high. So then the only low spot would have been the north end of my basement, which is where my sub pump sits. Meaning the water would flow. And they even cut a little notch, because in the basement, you guys probably seen there was a studded wall there, right? There's nothing on the wall, it's just a studding. They notched out a little piece of wood so the water could flow through it. One, the water's not pressure treated, so it's going to rot no matter what. It hasn't rotted yet, but you can tell that when it gets wet, it's going to get rotted eventually. So, but it's not going to do any good, to be honest with you, to put a secondary pump in, because of just the way they put the concrete floor. Now, I was explaining this to Veritech because he didn't understand. Well, he just said okay, but he had asked how is my basement flooding, or why is it flooding? Because the concrete wall, okay, that's, you know, your wall, which would be like this. If you have a basement, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's basically like my shop. I don't have no. Well, I'll use this side. See these little pieces of wood right here? Okay, well, pretend that's my concrete wall. That concrete wall is sitting on my concrete floor. Okay, just like the shop. The shop is just sitting on top of this concrete. It's not even anchored down. That's why this end is sliding off. So that's how they did my foundation. They did my foundation in chunks, which is a very bad idea to do. This home was made in a factory. This is not a homemade house. Okay, which are made a lot better than these ones that are made in a company or in a factory. Factory homes go up quicker, and I think they cost a little bit less money. I'm not 100% sure. They probably cost us a little bit less than an ordinary home, because a home-built home takes more time to build. This house probably went up in like 2 days, compared to an ordinary home that has to be built by scratch would take months, depending on how many men and women you got working on your house. If you have only a limited amount, it's going to take you a lot longer. Well, my concrete is sitting. The concrete wall is sitting on top of of my concrete floor, so I think it's leaking in between there. Another way it's leaking, and my mom noticed this. She thinks that it's coming up from the cracks in the concrete. Now, cracks like these, but the thing is, I have much tinier cracks, like really tiny cracks. Okay, well, even just the tiniest little crack will let moisture in. And that's a big no-no in your basement when you have, you know, wood in your basement, like I do. Eventually, all that wood's going to rot because of moisture. So, I know one guy said to put in a secondary pump. It's not a half bad idea. It would be nice as like a secondary backup pump, you know. And another thing too, this pump here that we have now wouldn't work quite as hard, you know. It'd be less wear and tear on that pump, because there's only one pump trying to move all this water. Okay, it has to move a lot of water. So, my hat seems dirty on video. Why is that? That's why. Yeah, I gotta cut my hair too. My hair is starting to look kind of goofy. When my hair starts to stick up like that, it means it's time for a haircut. So I need to get a hair. I gotta cut my hair again. So, but the one guy said to put a secondary pump in, or another pump. It's not a half bad idea. It would cost money, but it's not going to really solve the issues, because my basement's still going to flood. The thing I was thinking of doing was putting some kind of waterproof paint on the walls and the floor. Just paint the whole entire thing. I have found some stuff. I know Justin gave me a link to some stuff that would work on concrete. That would make it waterproof, obviously, and I think that was like a 5-gallon pail or something too, or it might have been a 5-gallon pail. I don't know, but it was a big pail of this paint like stuff. Some people are complaining because it's a little bit thicker than paint. well, that's kind of what you want. You want it to be thick so then it can't break that easy. If it's thin, like paint, and paint chips so damn easy, so that it wouldn't hold up too much pressure then. But that there he showed, you got to get that at Lowe's for like $115 per pail, and I'd probably need like 3 of them because I want to paint my whole entire basement. I want the whole thing. My lawyer, I know that my lawyer said that when I was about to buy the house. He says that would cost probably about $5,000 to $10,000 to have a company come down and waterproof it, which is probably a lot better because they would do it from the outside. They would just dig around your foundation and then they would put a cover on it. The thing is, I think I could just paint it for a lot less. And then another thing too, I have to put new insulation down there too, or new foam insulation on the walls because a lot of that stuff is breaking and falling off and being junk. So really, in order to use that as an entertainment room, I have to make it waterproof. The whole thing has to be waterproofed in order for me to use it. So it kind of sucks that I did all that fucking work, sucking all that water out, filled back in again because of the rain that we just had. And now we got a monster rainstorm moving in again. I'm not even going to bother sucking any more water out because I need a dry spell to happen now. I need a week or 2 weeks of 70, 80 degree weather now in order to really dry out my basement good enough. I have cats that go downstairs. They're limited to where they can go because of the water. Some cats go up high to sleep because they have no way, they can't, well, they even get around. They have to go up high to even climb up. They got to climb they got to get up on top of the sills, and they got to get all around that way because my basement's completely under again. It's so stupid. It's pissing me off so much. But what can you do? Everything costs fucking money. So what the hell do you do? So I was gonna maybe just see if Hardware Hank has that kind of stuff, primer or waterproof paint. Because going to Lowe's is not an option for me because Lowe's is like an hour and a half south from here. So I'm not going an hour just to pick up one pail of crap. I could probably get it at the hardware for probably about the same and save me tons of money in gas. So on payday, I'm going to go take a look, see what he offers. Because he sells regular paint, so I'm sure he must sell waterproof paint too for concrete. So, because I'm getting sick and tired of it. I'm really getting sick and tired of, I don't know how long apparently that paint's supposed to last for like 5 years, whatever the hell it is. I don't know. It had some kind of a warranty on it, so not sure if 5 years is even worth doing. It'll get you by in a pinch, but really, if you wanted long-term, like forever, waterproofing, you would have to have someone dig around the outside of your foundation and waterproof it that way. Which would be stupid because they're going to have to rip all our, well, we don't have much for things in front of the house, like plants. But we don't want to tear them up and get rid of them either because they're nice and that's all we have left because all the other ones have died off. It's just a lot of work and a lot of money. So, and I don't know if it's really worth spending, say, $5 or $10 into waterproofing the basement, whereas I'm probably not going to be here forever anyway, so why not just do something temporary? It'll cost me more money probably in the long run if I live here another 10, 15 years, but that's just what I got to do, because it's not worth it for me to sink in 10, 15 grand, and I'm only here, say, for another 5 or 10 years. I mean, yeah, it's good for that, but, I just don't think, either way I look at it, it's a waste of freaking money. But it's also getting sickening that I have to pump water every freaking year. I don't think last year I had to, so I got to have a break there, but, when you get too much rain going on at one time, it just, the ground can't soak it up fast enough, and it has no choice but to leak. It has no choice but to go anywhere it can. Which means my basement. So, what do? So I'm getting sick and tired of having the pump. So I give up. I'm going to stop for a couple of weeks and until I know, or at least for now. I don't know how long that rain will stay. It doesn't look like it might be. It might be here for an hour or two, but it looks like it's going to be pretty decently heavy rain too. So meaning it's going to flood my basement even more. So really, why even bother trying to do anything with it? So, but yeah, so there's your little update, guys. I'm going to probably take off. I want to make a shorty, and I still got to have time to edit this video and do stuff to it. So. But yeah, so there's my little update, rant, whatever you want to call it. Just I'm getting sick and tired of this basement, so what are you gonna do, right? So anyways, guys, I'm gonna take off. So I guess have a good day and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.